Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hustle Unfiltered. In this episode, Kayla and I go through all things warm-ups, injury prevention, and then training programs and training intensity and technique. If you guys enjoy the episode, this is a great time to hit that follow button, hit that sub button, like, share, do all the things. And if you guys are interested in coaching, head down to the show notes. Our application forms are below. And we've also launched our giveaway. So we're giving away up to $8,000 worth of prizes. So 1 year of online coaching and a bunch of vouchers to clothing, supplements, and meal prep, as well as some second prize vouchers as well. So head down, enter the giveaway, and enjoy the episode. What it do, baby?
What it do?
How are ya?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. What have you been doing today? Let's just get this a bit more casual, you know?
Well, I totally haven't seen you all day.
I know. For anyone who listens to this, like, even though we work together, we run a business together, we actually don't see each other a lot in the day.
Well, we haven't seen each other a lot in the last... Yeah, true.
Two days. You had a lot on yesterday.
Yeah, I was bouncing around, had a bit to do.
Going physio, fixing your neck.
Yeah, so RB Physio.
Shout outs. Does she listen to this?
I have no idea.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
But when I saw one of my good friends, who is also a physio, to get my neck and my trap sorted, because that has been an ongoing issue for, I'd say, well over a year.
Yeah.
But it's been one of those things that, like, I'll feel it and then it kind of just goes away and then it'll, like, come back and then it'll go away. And I was saying this to her yesterday, like, I think with prep and the shows, because I was so lean and just, like, weak, I didn't really notice it towards the end. But as I've gotten heavier and gotten stronger again and put on all this weight, I think it's just now, like, whoa, you're lifting so much more in such a quick period of time. Like, it's now just flared back up again. And paired that with sitting at the desk, being in this position constantly, sleeping on it, lifting heavier loads, I think it's just at the point now where, like, something needs to be done. But the good news is it's nothing to do with my training, or, like, I don't have to change anything training wise. I just have to make a very conscious effort to take regular breaks when I'm sitting at my desk, so I get some movement in it. And when I do move, it does feel a lot better. Need to release, like, my trap as well.
This has been an ongoing issue for you for, like, years, since, like, almost since I started dating.
The first time I ever felt something happen here was literally not last year, it was the year before. It was when I was still doing face-to-face and I woke up at some ungodly hour and trained before a full day of work. And I don't think I warmed up properly. I'm pretty sure it was in the middle of fucking winter. And at the gym at the time it was cold. And I remember I did an incline press and I just felt something pop. And ever since then, it's just, there's always been something.
Yeah.
And I did, like, my rehab and it got better because I was seeing Ali at the time.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it did improve, but it's just, it just kind of circles back. So good news, don't have to change anything training-wise. I'm not allowed to train with my ego over the next 2 weeks.
So what's the moral of the story here, though?
Go see a physio sooner rather than later.
Well, that, but also do your warm-ups.
Do your warm-ups. Doubling down on my thoracic mobility, courtesy of Jason as well. So it's just that the exercise she's given me, no ego lifting for the next 2 weeks, and just being very mindful when I'm training to not let my traps take over. They are just very active and I would need to be very conscious of that.
But you're jacked, you're large, you're getting big.
I am getting
Your legs look very big at the moment, I will say.
Thank you. We are working hard for that. I am burying myself in my sessions at the moment. No,
I've been watching because I watched you on the house court today, literally getting buried.
Yeah. So worth it though.
That's positive. Well, for myself, I just planned out my next growth phase, which is really exciting. So if anyone doesn't know, I think I mentioned this on a podcast before. I've been on Accutane for the past 3 months?
You started after my shows, yeah.
In November, December. Nearly 3 months. I think we're like 9 weeks in. So far, luckily I'm on a very low dose, like only 20 milligrams. But I feel fine. Like, obviously the acne is going away, which is really positive. My skin is super dry. My lips are always dry, which reminds me I should probably use lip balm. But overall, it's been, like, quite a neutral experience. Like, I haven't felt any side effects, touch wood. You know, there's wood behind you if you want to touch it. Thank you. But yeah, so far it's been fine. Like, the last couple of weeks, bit of achy joints. Like, I've been complaining about my elbow a little bit. Like, my right knee is always a bit iffy. So how I've, like, sort of managed that myself is just by managing training load with higher reps. So doing, like, more high reps so I can't go as heavy, you know, a little bit nicer on the joints that way as well. But overall, it's been pretty good. Like, I honestly haven't dealt with any severe side effects, thankfully. And just the dry lips is probably the worst one. And a dry nose. That's probably been the most annoying one. Because, like, I'm breathing heavy, but, like, it's just because my nose is dry.
So even that you're breathing heavy, you're just, like, not breathing
efficiently.
Yeah. So it's, like, getting stuck as you breathe out.
There's not a lot of moisture going on. So that, dry skin, obviously, like, I peel a lot easier being in the sun and stuff. So extra careful with my moisturizing and sunscreen use.
SPF application?
SPF 100. But no, it's been alright. But I'm excited to finally be able to, like, push things again. I feel like for me, training, I love training. Like, that's never going to change. But I just feel like for the goals that I have of wanting to compete again in another year's time, like, not to say that I haven't been making progress, it's just hasn't been able to push at the rate that I've wanted to push at.
And know you can as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been really nice to know that, like, you know, I had a doctor's appointment last week, and I see the dermatologist again in a few weeks' time, and just knowing that I'm getting on the back end of that. Look, I'll probably be on Accutane at a higher dose, and then I'll probably be on it for quite a while. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm sort of on it forever, because I do know a lot of bodybuilders that have to run it forever.
Okay.
Which I'm okay with, because if I just have to run a low dose and I'm the worst I deal with, and so far I'm tolerating it well, if I just have to deal with, like, a dry nose and dry lips and dry skin, I can deal with that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. For anyone that is on it, they can obviously understand where they're at. I know some people react very differently. It's like if you have a coffee and I have a coffee, it's obviously very different reactions to things.
Yeah, I shit myself.
Yeah.
Get overstimulated.
Exactly. Where for myself, I'm a little bit tolerable of drugs. Because
heaps of practice.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of reps under his belt.
Yeah, I got a lot of practice. But yeah, training's good, and it's just nice to know that I'm on the back end of the skin journey. I'm still a little bit there, but it was rough. Like, I think I've mentioned this on a previous podcast, just like not wanting to take your shirt off, because mine was pretty much on my chest and back. And that's been a hard thing. And we obviously had that conversation last night as well. Just like, it could have been on my face, which felt like probably would have been worse, because it's like your chest, back, and your face all covered in acne would have just been shit. But
yeah, it's definitely still hard and challenging to manage it. So, you know, you're not wrong for feeling that way. Yeah,
no, it's been good. But what I wanted to actually touch on today, which is a good segue from your thing, was just like the importance of we're in summer at the moment, so like it doesn't matter as much because people are warm generally, but warming up, pre-activation, it's a conversation I've had a lot with a lot of my clients, because a lot of my guys are trying to get big. And I know a lot of your girls do builds and stuff, but
yeah, we're all trying to get fucking huge.
Yeah, but for guys, as they get bigger, especially in the upper body, like things get tight, things get, you know, a bit harder to move, mobility goes out the window, internal external rotation, or internal rotation goes through the roof, external rotation goes out of the blue. But like, I think I want to touch on like your experience with even just injuries. Obviously you got your neck. I'm pretty lucky, I haven't dealt with a lot. I've had a shoulder injury, but how you've sort of changed your approach on warm-ups, because mine has definitely changed a lot.
Yeah, I don't think my warm-ups have honestly changed in the last 3 years. I think when I started training with Cameron was when I really like focused on my warm-ups and like had a set, like, this is what I do no matter fucking what, and really got clear on like what warming up outside of like my lifts looked like when I do need to implement any sort of extra mobility work for certain areas. And then like warming up to my actual lifts as well would be, that's where I started doing it. Because obviously when you're lifting, like if you're a squatter, deadlifter, bencher, you need to warm up doing it.
If you're powerlifting specifically,
yeah, like that's, because
what
you can't even question it. And at the time I was doing pretty much that style of training, so it very much instilled those habits into me. And then as we've shifted more towards bodybuilding and like taking the route of like building my physique more, it hasn't really changed as much. I'd say the only difference is really I'm foam rolling more now than I did before.
Yeah.
More
people shit on the foam roller though, and I remember there was a point,
I used to, before I started training with Cameron, I would have absolutely shit on it.
There was a point where I feel like the industry alone, for anyone that's not in the industry, like we obviously see a lot of what other coaches put out.
Yeah.
But there was a point where everyone shat on foam rolling, including myself.
Yeah, I was like, what's the point in this? And now I'm like, where's my foam roller? I can't, it comes everywhere with me now. But yeah, I'd say like before though, it was very much like for me, a warm up was just kind of like walk on the treadmill for 5 minutes and then get into your session. And that was one of the biggest mistakes I could have made at the time, because I was always stuck on certain numbers, or things just kind of felt weird and I'd avoid it rather than addressing the fact that you're not warm and you're not ready to actually lift the weight.
Yeah, because I think something that's really interesting as well, like what you mentioned there, was just like stuck on certain numbers. It's like warming up isn't necessarily going to make you stronger. Like load is what's going to make you stronger. Stimulus is going to make you stronger. But being able to do that for longer periods of time so that you can actually push past plateaus is what's important there. And warming up and staying away from injury is what's going to correlate with that. Like for me, I know that whenever I've gotten to top ends of strength has also when my injuries have popped up, because you're pushing the most amount of load, more torque in the joints, etc. So I'm like, well, if I don't do the warm-ups, then those injuries are going to stop me from progressing. So for yourself, keep going.
Don't stop. Yeah, no, it was like the biggest one I noticed the difference with was like my RDLs, for example. There was like a time where I couldn't lift any heavier than 60 kilos. But it's like once I actually warmed up properly and did my warm-up sets properly, that's when I started making progress, because like my body was actually prepared to lift the weight and progress with the weight. But as of late, like my warm-ups, like I said, don't really change, and basically all my girls warm up exactly how I do. It's like doing some level of core activation before a session. We do the foam rolling as well. If it's an upper day, we're doing some sort of upper mobility or activation work. If it's a lower body day, we're doing some sort of lower body activation, mobility work, hip stuff. And that's the extent of it, because I think some people either don't fucking warm up, or then they're warming up for about half an hour.
Yeah, I think you gotta like,
you gotta find your middle ground. And I think even as well over time, like there's probably been points where I've warmed up a lot longer, but now I'm at a point where I know what I need to do to feel prepared going into my session. Yeah.
I think for me, like I can even just tell when my body feels ready now. Like when I'm warming up, like for context, like for me, I got told off by my coach to be like, bro, like you're not warming up, because
he complained that his knee was hurting.
Yeah.
And things were off, and then Jason was like, have you been warming up? And you're like, and I know he hasn't, because he would start his like first fucking set before I've even jumped on a warm-up set.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, bro.
Yeah. So,
why are you training now? I haven't even finished my warm-up yet.
Yeah, so I wasn't doing my warm-ups, and then my knee started hurting, and then Jason's like, are you doing warm-ups? And to tack on to the end of that as well, it's like if you're not preparing yourself to access ranges of motion that you haven't accessed outside of the gym, so for example, like, you know, full depth squat, you know, full like deep end of a shoulder press or a chest press, it's like you're not putting yourselves in those positions unless you're in the gym. Right, so you're spending 95% of your time not in those ranges of motions, not with load on your joints. So it's like, how can you be prepared to do that if you're not doing it outside of the gym?
How can you expect your body to do that?
Yeah, so that was my mistake, and I've learned from that. And now it's just like when I warm up and I'm doing whether it's upper body, I train predominantly more upper body, obviously. So it's like when I'm doing that, I'm doing my thoracic, I'm doing, you know, some warm-up sets, I'm doing external rotations, getting my shoulder blades, you know, lubricated, for a lack of a better word. But I know when I'm warming up, I'm like, oh, like this feels ready. Like you can start to be more in tune with that and know that. And I've had a lot of my guys come to me just saying, my shoulder hurts, my elbow hurts. It's like, well, are you warming up? It's like, no. Well, it's like, cool, you're stronger than you've ever been. You need to be warming up. Because if you're not, it's like, that's when the injuries are going to come apart. And it's only going to get worse the stronger you get.
Yeah. It's kind of like, if you think about it, if I put like a little analogy of this, I just thought of it. It's like a spaghetti. If you were to move or bend uncooked spaghetti, that bitch is cracking.
Yeah.
When it's ordered or when it's cooked, it's obviously a little bit more bendy, it's lubricated.
Yeah.
You can bend it and it's not going to snap.
Yeah.
Think of your body in that way.
Yeah.
You're not going to snap a joint maybe.
Yeah.
But it's like, why would you expect your body to move through a full range of motion, pain-free, comfortably, and like smooth if it's not warmed up, if it's not ready to go?
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. And I've learned that lesson. I think injury-wise, like the only things I've dealt with is my knee and then my shoulder. That was a long one, that shoulder one.
Mine is my neck, and my other one was my hip.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because my hip then translated to my knee.
Yeah, you couldn't squat.
There was a period of time, it was 2023, after I did my first photo shoot. I didn't squat for, I don't think it was like, I didn't squat or split squat, nothing for probably 6 months.
Yeah, I remember you couldn't even Bulgarian.
Couldn't do anything, and saw someone for that, did the treatment. And I think, I can't remember fully what that came from, but I'm pretty sure that was a pre-existing hip injury, which we think was connected to the knee injury. And because I didn't get on top of this, that happened.
Yeah.
And I think because it was my glute was weak on my left side. And like it was just all tight through here, that it was just like putting tension on my knee, something like that.
Yeah.
And I had to rebuild up from scratch. Like I remember at the time, that's also when I first started working with Jason as well. My first program was like dumbbell goblet squat with a 4-second tempo.
I literally remember that.
And it was like starting with 10 kilos and working my way up. And a lot of that work, and I don't think I got back to squatting on a machine probably for like 2 or 3 programs after that. And so that's like 8 to... say that's probably what, 8 weeks,
20 plus weeks or something.
Yeah, like I'd say 4 months.
Yeah, it's a long time. So.
Before I got like on a pendulum squat.
Yeah.
And even after that as well, it was quite like sensitive with when and what I did with it as well, because then it flared back up again when I did the hack squat.
Did you go to tempos when you were back on the machines? Were you still doing tempos on the machines?
Nah, the only time that I've ever done tempo work was like that first program and my last program.
Oh yeah, because the recovery block, yeah.
Because I did double goblet squat and then I did a safety bar squat with... Oh no, I did do a tempo, I'm pretty sure, with that one. Pretty sure that was a tempo as well.
Yeah. So even like when I look at powerlifters, right, it's like they probably get the most injured because they're lifting maximal loads for 1 rep, but it's like they get injured the most often because they're doing such heavy lifts, but they probably also spend the most amount of time warming up because of those reasons. So they're at a higher risk for injury. So if we put it in the context of more building your physique, maybe you don't need to spend that much amount of time, but it's the same context applies.
Yeah. But not only that, even like comparing a powerlifter training session to, say, a building your physique person, it's all the multi-joint, you're lifting as much as you can, maybe a little bit of accessory work.
Yeah, yeah.
Or if they're a shitty person, they skip the accessory and just do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, because they just want to
Because they can't be fucked, they just want to be strong. But when we're looking at someone that's, focusing on, yes, you want to build muscle, but when we look at it from a balance perspective as well, because I even had one of my clients ask, like, why are we training chest or why are we doing a bench press? It's like to keep your joints healthy, to keep everything structurally balanced, because that's going to cause issues down the line, which is then only going to take away from you being able to train the things that you want to train and build the physique that you actually want.
Yeah, the biggest pushback I get from guys as well, which is, we're kind of on the topic of injury and, injury prevention, which, look, isn't impossible, but,
I think niggles are always going to pop up. I've come to realize, like, you can't escape and be, like, fully pain-free for the rest of time, but you also need to be doing everything you possibly can to avoid that as much as possible. Yeah,
so even in the course that like I'm doing now with Prescript, the one thing they say is injury prevention is almost like very silly because it's not like it's never going to happen, especially for them. They deal with athletes who are playing in sports where it's like the level of injury or the likeliness of injury is so much higher because you have the collateral of people running at you.
Yeah, so it's like out of your control.
Yeah, the variable there is so like it's uncontrolled. Like you don't know if someone's going to run at you with their shoulder or with their foot in your face. Like there's that free will there of that, and if you don't know how you're going to fall, like you can't preempt that. But the gym, you're dealing with perfectly balanced dumbbells, perfectly built machines that are stable. It's like, yes, the likeliness is lower, but it's not impossible. Like shit's gonna happen eventually.
And I think as well with that, before we keep going into it, I find a lot of the times the injuries that come up are off the back of something that didn't happen in the gym.
Yeah,
Like my
yeah.
neck, for example, yes, the first time, but happened in the gym, but I can guarantee it came off the back of not warming up properly, having a shit sleep that night, and tightness from sitting at my desk for 12 hours.
Yeah, I know someone that ruptured their ACL after squatting 320 kilos, but they didn't do it squatting 320 kilos. They did it walking down a step.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously it's induced from what happened there, and he was a powerlifter, not anymore, obviously. But like, it's really interesting to know that it didn't even happen lifting.
That's like what happened with my knee. Remember, we were on the way to Melbourne and it blew up on the plane.
Oh yeah.
So it didn't actually even happen in a session.
Yeah. Well, it's just like inflammation, like, you know, if it hasn't, obviously the plane probably played a role in that in terms of like pressure.
The pressure, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. Now, if you're someone listening to this though, and you're like, all right, these guys are fucking harping on about warm-ups, injury prevention, that sort of stuff. What are your like go-tos when it comes to like non-negotiables for warming up?
McGill's Big Three for missed core activation.
Explain what that is.
That is when you do the bird dog, side plank, front plank, and then curl ups, which is like a crunch, and that's basically just training like all sides and areas of your core and all of the movements that it can go through. And because when a lot of girls say like, oh, I want to strengthen my core, I want to like do my core exercises, like do that at the start of your session.
Yeah.
That's going to strengthen your core. That is core exercises. You're just not doing the 30 rep ab exercises someone said on Insta. So I always do with that. And that's also like highly researched and like scientifically backed. So I would absolutely run with that. So I always do that at the start of the session. Then on my lower body days, I have been doing some like hip mobility work, like the hip 99, just going through like range of motion through my hips. I will do also like T-spine rotations or like the thoracic rotations in a bit of a split stance. And like hip swings, hip aeroplanes as well. Like anything that's just getting a lot of movement through my hips, especially because we sit at desks for fucking ridiculous amounts of hours of a day. Like we're not moving as much, especially when we're face to face. It's like we're sitting up and down, we're moving around the gym. We have a lot of movement through our lower body. Now we don't, especially if you're an office worker or someone that does sit down for a lot of the time.
I was clocking like 15k steps face to face.
Yeah, now it's like an effort to get to 7,000 steps. So we want to do something like that to get some blood flow and movement through the lower body. And sometimes I do things like hip thrusts as well, like a glute bridge on the floor if I feel the need to warm up that area. But that's generally like the consensus of a lower body warm up for me. And then I start to go into warm up sets and I start from body weight,
warm-up
no
sets,
weight, building into it. Because you can do your warm-up perfectly. You can do that, feel good there. But if you are then not doing your warm-up sets, it's still not going to put you in the best position. Yeah,
especially once you get strong, you're like expecting yourself to, squat or RDL if you're a female, 100 kilos, or a guy, 130, 140 kilos. It's like, you can't just go into that without any sort of preparation, because the other layer to that as well is the nervous system, right? So it's like if your nervous system isn't primed and ready for load, then there's going to be some sort of like miscommunication there between the nervous system and the muscles to be like, oh, we actually got to work here.
It's like if you were to go into the gym one week and be like, oh my God, this feels so light. Like it felt great. And then the next week, you've done nothing different, but maybe you didn't do as many warm-up sets leading into it, or you just weren't as prepared, and it feels like fucking dog shit. Yeah. That could be the difference. And I generally find that is the difference as well.
Yeah, well, my warm-up sets, they're always to be like, oh, this feels good today. Like, I'm going to take a bigger jump.
It either feels good today, but also, like, if you are someone that is working on a technique with a certain lift, or you're doing a highly complex movement, like something like a squat or an RDL, where you know there's a few moving parts we need to think about, that's your time to double down on it. You're not doubling down thinking all the cues when you're in the middle of your heavy set. No. You should have focused on that and cleaned that up in your warm-up sets, so when you get to that, that's down, all I need to do is lift it one rep at a time.
Yeah, it's like the great analogy for that is like sparring as a boxer. It's like that's when you're practicing your jab, cross, hook, roll.
His hustles.
His hustles. So that's when you're practicing that, because if you get hit, you got headgear on, the person's probably not trying to knock your head off. When you're in the fight, there's no time to think about, oh, slow down, I gotta do that again, you know, I gotta get the roll, like I got punched in the face. It's like, no, that person's trying to punch you in the face. Your heavy top set is the fight, your warm-up sets are the sparring. So you can utilize that to be like, all right, let's refine this, let's make sure we're, you know, doing everything the way we should be. And then when it's time to go, like, you're not thinking about, oh, like my hips need to be here and I need to initiate with my bum back, and you're just like, I'm moving this load as best as I can. And that's the best way you can think about it.
And another thing on warm-up sets too, because I could sometimes fall in the trap of like, oh, it's just a lightweight, like just tick the box sort of thing. It's like, just because the weight is like, you're doing a body weight rep, whatever it is, like still treat it as if you've got 100 kilos on that weight, because that's also going to dictate how fast or slow you move in the movement. Say, for example, you've got a 3-second tempo in your program, you're practicing that in the warm-up. You're not practicing a 3-second tempo once you've got 80 kilos on the hack squat.
Yeah.
And if you are rushing through your warm-ups, rushing through the reps, that's how you're going to expect your working sets to feel and look. That's not going to be the same. Yeah,
I agree completely. For me, like as someone who, when I do my warm-ups, it's like stretch, mobilize, and load. That's what's in the program, so that's what I do. So I always start things off with some sort of stretch. I'll also just like, you know, because stretching and mobility like very different, like in terms of what the context of them. So I'll do, if I'm doing upper body, you know, I'll stretch my upper back, I'll get on a foam roller, I'll roll it out a little bit, you know, I'll stretch my chest, my shoulders, that sort of stuff. Maybe get on like a pull-up bar and like decompress the spine a little bit. And then from there, I'll start mobilizing. I'll do some more dynamic stuff, like some, you know, what's it called? World's Greatest Stretch, where you open up.
Yeah, that's what I meant before as well. I didn't say that.
Yeah, that one, open up the thoracic a little bit more. I'll probably start doing a bit more like arm swings, that sort of stuff.
I've seen you do the resistance band and get that out.
The resistance band a little bit, pull apart, that sort of stuff. And then I'll load it. That's when I'll grab the dumbbells downstairs. I'll do the I's, I'll do the W's, I'll do the T's, whatever they're called. Get some dumbbells in my hand, get the rotator cuff moving, some external rotations, and then I'll go into my warm-up sets. So then it's like I've stretched it, so there's some access of range of motion. I've mobilized it, doing it with a little bit of load, warming up the areas that I'm going to be using, and then I'll start loading it. And that for me is what I find best, and that happens to always be when I start getting to that loading part, I'm like, okay, I feel good now because I've got some weight in my hands, there's blood in that area, and I feel like my chest has opened up a bit more. And you'll find as well, like I feel like when you do the warm-ups properly, it actually improves your ability to target the muscle you're trying to train a lot better too, because you can, if you're improving your mobility, that means you're improving your ability to access ranges of motion. So if you're someone who has shit hip mobility and you struggle to get to the bottom of a squat, right, for whatever reason, hip, knee, ankle, then it's like if you are mobilizing yourself prior to the lift, then you're probably going to get deeper into your squat and have a better job at doing that too. So it does have more of a carryover than just like the strength and injury prevention aspect, but it's also just like you could be improving your ability to actually get more out of your movements as well.
I think also there's a mental side of things as well. I know that warming up for me personally helps me get into
100%
the mindset to train. It's like that's the time where, you know, you put your music on, you're thinking about your body, you're thinking about how you're going to move, you know, you have to pay attention when you're warming up to make sure you're warming up effectively. It's like that's kind of you switch to like turning the dials or turning the switch on to be like, I'm about to train.
Yeah, you're slowly dialing that arousal up.
Yeah.
Like for us, like when we go upstairs at Metroflex and we do our warm-ups, headphones aren't on yet. You know, we're still having a bit of a chat, maybe having a laugh. Maybe sometimes you put the headphones on depending on how loud the demons are that day.
How hard the demons are, yeah.
But like we're still talking, and then the second we go downstairs, headphones on, we don't really talk until we need a spot from one another. And that's just like a very good point of just like the mental side of things too. But the other thing I also wanted to touch on, if we're talking on injury prevention, because you mentioned like why girls still need to train chest. The one I get from guys all the time is like, why do I need a hinge? You know, I'm not trying to train my glutes. I don't want big glutes. It's like, well, some level of glutes is probably good.
You don't want to look like a fucking surfboard.
No, exactly. Right, but not only that, it's like if you're not going into deep ranges of hip flexion and hip extension, then you're kind of asking for a lot of injuries here. Like the hip extension, all guys fucking hate it. But it's like, how else? Do you want to do a hip thrust? You know, you're not going to be...
They hate it because they're shit at it.
Yeah, exactly. right? So it's like, do you want to do a hip thrust? Because I can guarantee you'd rather hip extension than hip thrust. But it's like you need some sort of hip extension, because I think what a lot of people do, ourselves included, we always look at things from a muscle perspective. Like, am I just training the muscle from a muscle centric point of view? But it's like, what does it do from a movement centric point of view, from an injury prevention point of view? And for your girls, it's like, well, yeah, okay, you might shoulder press and lateral raise to get those nice cap delts so you look good in a bikini. But it's like, if you can't chest press either, then you're like missing out on some sort of ranges of motion there.
And that's only going to affect your ability to have some nice shoulders in a bikini.
Yeah, and then like also it's like you're probably going to injure yourself to a degree because you're only ever pressing overhead.
Not only that though, I just kind of think like for chest, for example, I've been training a lot of chest in my time. I do not have big fucking pecs.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just going to wake up one day with like fucking, throw out a bodybuilder's name, like pecs. Like, you're not going to like Nick Walker one day with like some fucking massive
If you don't know who Nick Walker is,
look him up.
Look up Nick Walker.
Yeah, he looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, literally.
But it's like, you know what, training a bit of chest, the only time I do adjust that or like bend the rules is if one of the girls have implants and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Then it's like, that's when I'd lean towards more of an incline over like a flat bench, because I know an incline can feel a little bit better for them.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's like if you do 3 sets of chest per week, it's purely a maintenance thing. You're not doing 12 sets of chest a week.
Yeah, but it's not like you're doing pec flies and cable flies.
I don't think I've ever programmed a pec fly.
I didn't ever seen you do a pec fly.
I don't even know how to do a pec fly. I have filmed a video for an exercise tutorial on it, and I don't even think I did it right. So that was the only time in my entire life I've ever done it.
Well, I mean, look, it's pretty butchered even for the guys.
If Jason programs a pec fly, I'd be like, why? What to do?
Have you got on a dumbbell fly?
Nah.
No, yeah, I wouldn't think
I'd
so.
rather bench.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I've done it before and it actually did not feel nice, but I think I'm also very tight there anyway. But,
Yeah.
yeah. So don't be afraid to bench, you know, girls. It's kind of fucking cool to see some of my clients like picking up the 20s though. I'm like, do it from just like a flex thing.
Well, yeah, it's like even just from a strength perspective, like you're the strongest in that flat dumbbell position. So it's like if you're a girl wanting to get stronger, it's like, well, you could probably benefit from having a strong dumbbell flat press.
Yeah, it's normal if you're benching more flat than overhead.
Yeah, well, then that's only then going to transfer to overhead, right? It's like I can guarantee when you've been able to dumbbell press flat your most, you've probably been able to shoulder press your most too. So it's like it's going to transfer over. And
I just know, like, I'm like, whatever weight I do for a bench, I'm like, cool, I know I can now progress that with my shoulders.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like I'm always either like 2.5 to 2 kilo difference.
Yeah.
So it's like if I'm doing the 16s for bench, I can do 14s for shoulder.
Have you ever gotten like a flat machine press, like any sort of horizontal press on a machine?
No.
Yeah, it's always like a machine.
Always dumbbell.
Always a machine shoulder press or a dumbbell shoulder press.
Yeah, I've only ever had a machine shoulder press. I've never done a flat. But I'm weird with presses on machines. The hammer strength one and the Cybex shoulder press is... Oh, and the Prime incline I did mine the other day.
Oh yeah, I saw you doing that. Yeah.
Those are like my top 4, I'd say, machine-based pressing exercises. I don't mind.
And if you're doing an incline, you're going to get some shoulders involved there as well. So you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone there.
Yeah. For majority, it's an incline press.
Yeah, I think even from what I've seen from you and when I program for girls, I've only ever done like a flat press and a shoulder press, or an incline and a shoulder press.
Yeah.
You'll never really see like a flat incline and shoulder all in one.
Not in one program or one day. Sometimes I've given them that.
If they're like starting out, probably.
Yeah, just to give like the push to pull ratio if we're playing around in that realm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So moral of the story, if you're not doing your warm-ups, if you are feeling tight, if you are getting injured, or if you don't want to get injured, you know, probably incorporating some level of warm-ups is going to be a really good idea.
And like, don't go overboard with the rest of your warm-ups in your sets or the rest of your exercises. Like, first exercise, non-negotiable warm-up into it.
Yeah, you don't need to be on your 5th exercise doing 4 warm-up sets.
Like, my rule of thumb is like, if I'm lifting a certain amount of weight that is like ungodly to think of just like picking it up right now, I'm doing a couple warm-up sets. The first exercise is anywhere between like, for upper body, 1 to 3 warm-ups, because I'm not lifting that heavy in comparison to my lower body, where that might be like anywhere between 3 to 4, maybe even 5, again, depending on how heavy I'm going. But if I'm getting to my third exercise and I'm doing something like the leg press, like today, for example, I did a hack squat, a good morning, a leg press, and I'm lifting 100 plus kilos on all of them.
Yeah.
Except for the hack squat. We're getting there. That is like, I need to warm up for all of them, but by the time I got to the kickback and the calf raise, I need to warm up.
Yeah, if it's multi-jointed, like you can definitely benefit from at least 1 to 2 later into the workout. First exercise, non-negotiable. I'd even say your second one, you know, it's because for me, right, it's like, or I don't know, but if like you've got a squat pattern and a hinge pattern in the same day, like, you know, opposing muscles, so you probably want to warm that up a little bit more. So for me, if I do like a heavy press and then a heavy row, like if I do like a incline dumbbell chest press and then I go do a T-bar row, I'm probably still going to warm up a little bit for the T-bar row.
Yeah.
Because they're both pretty heavy, you know. But yeah, no, I think that ticks a lot of boxes. Do you have like a golden rule on how many sort of warm-up sets you would want to do in your initial exercise?
I'd say you don't need any more than 5.
Yeah, and I would decrease the reps as you...
Yeah, so like this is how I always do it for, say like my RDLs, this is like the easiest one because it's the same every time. 8 reps with just the bar, 6 reps with 40 kilos. Then I would go 4 reps with 60. I'm currently doing 92 at the moment. So then I'd go 2 reps at 80, 2 reps at 90, first set at 92 or 95.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So every time you do more sets or you do your warm-up sets, each set, weight should go up, reps should significantly decrease. You don't need to be doing any more than fucking 8 to 10 reps for the first warm-up set. And it should always come down. Because by that last warm-up set, I'm not doing that warm-up set to be like, oh, am I warm yet? It's like, that's purely my body needs to feel this weight. So the jump next is not a shock to the system.
Yeah, 100%.
So 2 reps is enough. You don't need any more than that.
Yeah.
Because if you're warming up, say you do 90 kilos for your last warm-up set and you do any more than 2 reps, by the time you get into your first set at 95, you're fucking cooked.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
So that's how I do that. But for a shoulder press of like 14 kilos, it's like 10, 12.
There.
Go into 14 then.
Yeah. If your jumps are obviously not as aggressive, you don't need to spend as much time warming up.
And like, you don't need to be fucking warming up with like the 6 kilos, the 8 kilos, the 10. Like that.
You don't need to climb the dumbbell stack. Yeah.
If you're like, if it's like a 4 kilo difference, doesn't matter. But I'm thinking like, if you're doing a big movement, like I'd say even a hip thrust, an RDL, or like a squat, that's how I do it.
Yeah.
And then for something like a pull-up, use a band and then go into body weight.
And if you're a guy, you just go plate, 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 plate. That's how I do it.
That's how I do it on the hip thrust now that I'm hip thrusting. We hip thrust the same amount of weight. Actually did more than you.
Oh, don't tell me that.
I did 180.
Fuck, I have to go heavier.
You did 160. I saw you did 4 plates.
Fuck. Oh, you know what's funny? When I was doing that, I was like, I wonder if Kayla's done this amount, because if she has, I'm going to be really annoyed. Because that was fucking hard. I
did that plus 20 more.
Well, I can proudly say your glutes are bigger than mine, because if it was the other way around, I'd be really worried.
Yeah. I'm genuinely shocked I'm at 180 on that hip thrust machine. Like, I'm actually very surprised and very happy about it.
Yeah, because that the hip thrust actual glute drive they've got there.
It's a little bit how you going.
Well, it's just been battered a little bit.
Yeah. Too many hip thrusts have happened on that machine.
I think a few too many big boys got on there and started hip thrusting.
Yeah. But I would just want to be able to get to 200. That's like the number where I'm like, if I do that once, I'm fucking good.
Yeah, see, I haven't had any really number-based goals in a long time.
I think for me, it's I need to kind of have a target just so I know that I'm not even working towards something, but I'm just like, I know I'm not going to settle for like, yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah, for me, last year and this year, having gone on the journey I've been on with my growth, I've really pulled...
Yeah, I feel like you can't...
Yeah, I pulled things back a lot.
Or not smart to do that.
Yeah, well, I just like... I incorporated a lot more tempo into my training, but then also just like really making sure I'm doing my best to not feel, because I don't want to say feeling is the most important,
just
but
placing tension on the right muscles.
Yeah, and still like applying that with high levels of intensity as well. Like my chest press today, watching it back, I was like, okay, like this looked easy at the beginning, slowed down a lot at the end, but I maintained my posture and my technique through the whole way through.
Yeah.
And I was like really happy with that, because I've like now found a rhythm where I've standardized all my reps, and I've really put a good emphasis on that. Now I'm like, okay, I can add load.
Yeah,
You know? And I think that's a really good way of doing things too, because like your technique doesn't really change when you're going heavier as well.
I try my best not to.
You don't speed reps up at the end of a rep.
No.
Or at the end of a set, sorry.
Honestly though, because I have been in that position way too many times where I have sped up the rep and it's felt fucking worse, and I've been buried harder because I have sped up the rep.
Yeah.
And that's something I tell a lot of the girls if they start to do that. It's like, remind yourself that slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like, if you're going into your heavy set and you're like, oh, I need to just get through this, it's like, you are not going to get through it because you're fucking with all of that now.
Yeah, even like for me squatting, because I have always been someone who heavily relies on the amount of muscle that they have on their quads.
And you kind of like bounce out of
Yeah, because I'm like, I know there's so much cushion there.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I can sort of like pop out of the squat and now I slow it right down.
Yeah, your pendulum squat's so slow.
Yeah, because I'm just like, I need to make sure this is all going to my quads.
Yeah, but I think as well as you progress in your training age, that starts to play out, because 2 years ago, I was not squatting that slow.
Yeah.
I still don't squat as slow as you, but my tempo is so much more consistent now than what it was 2-3 years ago.
Well, I look back at videos of when I was first started getting into bodybuilding, and I remember my coach at the time saying, slow down. And I'm just like, this is slow. And I watched it the other day and I was like, this is not fucking slow.
When I watch my videos from like when I first started training with Jason, I'm like, girl, and you thought you fucking knew it all.
Yeah.
So it's just like, film your lifts, and that's another thing, you're never going to know if you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to know if you're getting the most out of your training if you are not visibly seeing it, because feeling can also look so fucking different. Like, how many times have we felt it felt slow.
Yeah.
You look back, it's like, no, it fucking wasn't. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't film it and didn't see it for yourself.
Yeah, 100%. I think just training alone, like if you can refine your ability to have good training technique, good tempo, and really like hone in on that, you'll be really surprised the progress you can make. Like, I think people just think it's the magic of a program and it's the magic of like someone telling you to go heavier and training hard. It's really not. Like, yeah, exercise selection obviously is a big component of that too, like choosing the right choose exercise for the right muscles. But it's like how you then utilize that exercise to your advantage is going to play a massive role in your results.
I feel like the hyper specificity of something is not going to do much if that isn't first addressed.
I mean, look at us as well. Like, we've done the same. Like, if I look at all my programs since starting with Jason 3 years ago, well, it's 3 years ago now, 4.
2020. I started in 2023.
Yeah, so
earlier.
2022, maybe even late of 2021. So if I look at that, I've done the same exercises since then. Like, I reckon maybe 1 or 2 exercises have been different, but everything's been the exact same. The only thing that's changed is the amount of volume, so how much repeated efforts I'm doing of exercises. But the only thing that's changed out of that is my ability to actually train properly.
Yeah.
And we've made more progress in the last year than we ever have. And the thing that we've improved on is our technique and our intensity. So if you really want to be able to take your physique further, it's like, just refine those 2 things. I think that was really good.
Fucking Slay Nation.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there.
Good, because I have a call in 15 minutes.
So do I.
Slay.
Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed the episode and got a lot of value from that. We kind of just went on a bit of a tangent there, but as always, if you enjoy the episode, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, you follow, you do all the things. And if you're interested in coaching with us, then head down to the show notes and there's our application forms down there as well.
Also, giveaway, because this will be out next week before the giveaway closes. We have launched a massive $8,000 giveaway, which includes 12 months of free coaching with either myself or Jackson. And we also have had the honor and privilege to work with quite a few brands that have input into the giveaway as well. Ninja Creamy is not one of them, but we did get you a Ninja Creamy if you win. Cover the Pump is also offering a voucher, Elite Sups, Maroubra and Ramwick, Protein Prep Co and also Carrick's Co Skin. So there is so many prizes that you can win with it alongside our coaching as well. So if you haven't already, we'll link that in the show notes as well below. Tag a friend. You can tag as many people as you want. The more you tag, the more entries you get. And if you do receive a little DM from myself, you also have the ability to
10 extra entries.
10 extra entries.
There'll also be some second prize giveaways as well.
Yeah.
So up to $600 worth of coaching as well.
Or a voucher off your coaching.
Yes.
Slay Nation, have a great day.